It is so easy for us to forget this. Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mandy, and today I have just a little note for you, not to forget this, because I know I forget this all the time. So I want to remind you not to forget you. And I don't mean that in a selfish way. What I am saying is don't forget your mother culture. It's so important. It really is. Our own edification, our own sanctification, our own growth is so important. And yes, even when we have littles, we can still take 5 minutes every now and then to breathe, to pray, to read, and to work on something that we need. And I think it's really important. I think it's vitally important. And the older I get, the more I see how important it is. And if you don't know what mother culture is, let me show you. I have such a stack over here, don't I? So over the summer, I read Mother Culture by Karen Andriola. She is such a sweet friend to me. I adore Karen. She sent me this book, and Mother Culture, how do I explain mother culture? You know what? I'm gonna let Karen explain it. Karen says, mother culture is a skillful art of how a mother looks after the ways of her household. With a thinking love, she creates a culture in the home all her own. A mother does a lot of taking care, so she also takes care of herself. So much depends on how she manages her life. This book is so good. So mother culture does not have to be something that takes a ton of time. Mother culture could be 5 minutes, it could be 15 minutes, but it's just a little part of your day where you're working on something for you. Now, that could be reading your Bible. That could be, like for me, a lot of times my mother culture is physical activity, because I have degenerative arthritis and I have spondylitis in my back. So I have to constantly keep in motion. I cannot stop. I have to constantly keep going. But I have to take breaks. It's so strange. So I'm up and then I'm down. I'm up and I'm down. I'm up and I'm down. But that keeps my joints and things flowing, and it keeps them from fusing together, because the last thing I want is to be in a wheelchair by the time I'm 50. So I am constantly on the move. And one of the things that I do in the morning as my mother culture is I work out. I work out a lot. Throughout the day, I'm reading my Bible. I am doing small things for myself, for my own mother culture. So I'm going to tell you the things that I'm doing for my fall 2025 mother culture, because I feel like this is probably going to change with the seasons. But this is what I have planned for my own mother culture coming up. So one thing that I want to start again is embroidery. I was obsessed with embroidery, and I think I burnt myself out. I started embroidering, I think about 2 or 3 years ago, and I just made tons of hoops. I was just making hoop after hoop after hoop, and I loved it, and it was so much fun, and I found that I was pretty good at it. It can get a little bit difficult with the seasons, because when it's cold, I have arthritis all through both of my hands, and it's one of those things I was doing when it got cold to keep my fingers moving, because sometimes that actually helped with the pain, as strange as that is. And it was just something that I started doing as it got cold. Now it's gonna get cold again soon. We're going into fall. I'm anticipating the seasonal changes. So I want to start planning out some hoops. I have not made one in, I think, about a year. So I would like to make some new ones and maybe learn some new stitching. So I think what I'm gonna do is probably start off with some winter designs, because right now it is going into fall. And what I like to do is work about 6 months ahead of a season, so I don't feel like super rushed to finish a hoop. You know what I mean? I don't like a time crunch like that. So I like to be able to relax and just work on whatever it is I'm working on. So another thing I'm working on at Karen Andriola's suggestion is my own nature notebook. So I bought a nature notebook for myself and I'm gonna go through it with my son. And I have no rules for this notebook. I don't have to finish it within a certain amount of time. I think I end up putting a lot of pressure on myself, like when I have like a time limit or something like that, or like I have to have so many entries done by whenever. I don't like assigning myself work because then I feel like it's not fun. So Karen gave me some great suggestions, and I read Pocketful of Pine Cones recently, and I have all kinds of ideas for my nature notebook, and now I'm kind of plotting out how I want to make the pages. So, and it's going to help me with watercoloring, which is the next thing that I wanted to mention. I have been watercoloring for a couple of years. I'm not that great, but I'm a lot better than I was when I started. Art is not something that comes really naturally to me. It's something that I really have to work at. I'm great at crafting. Art, drawing, things like that, I'm not that great at that. So it does not come very natural. I really have to practice it. One of the resources that I use is Andrea Nelson Art here on YouTube. She is so good, and she breaks down drawing things either with a paintbrush or with a pencil so easily for me, because she just makes it into basic shapes and blobs. Like, that's like her big thing. She says this is just a blob. I love how she does that because it makes me not afraid to put paint on my paper. So I have been using her tutorials for over a year, and I have really improved thanks to her. I highly recommend Andrea's channel. I have bought her supplies. I love her watercolor palette. It's like my favorite palette. So highly recommend her. I highly recommend her supplies. I personally purchased it myself. I am not sponsored. Okay, one of the things I have been wanting to do for so long is get better at a sewing machine. I feel like I start and I stop and I start and I stop. And part of the reason is the arthritis in my hands. Sometimes I can do the intricate things, sometimes I cannot. So I want to get a little bit more consistent. I've learned how to hem, which is great because I'm short. I'm only 5'2", and that's when I can actually straighten my back all the way out. I'm 5'2". Can't always straighten my back all the way out, but I'm short, so I have a lot of hemming to do all the time. So I want to go through this sewing book that I got on Amazon, and it's called First Time Sewing for the Absolute Beginner. And I want to do some of the projects in there. I have done many projects and I've finished quite a few, but I would like to get some more practice. So sewing is something I'm gonna add to my mother culture. I can do a lot of things with a needle thanks to the embroidery practice, but I would like to get a little bit better at using my machine. I felt very intimidated by it at first. I'm starting to get a little bit better about it, and I don't know, like I get so nervous to cut into fabric. I don't know why, it's so silly. Can cooking be mother culture? If it is, then cooking is definitely up there on my list. I don't use traditional sugar in my house because sugar, for some reason, nobody reacts well to sugar in my house, myself included. I think that's just because a lot of, like, we all have autoimmune issues, so sugar is awful. So I have noticed that sugar causes both of my children headaches and migraines, and it doesn't do very well for me either. It inflames everything. So the sugar is out of my house. So we use coconut sugar and monk fruit sweetener, and like there's a couple different things that I use, but it's all natural sugar, like honey and syrup, things like that. I'm looking for some really good dessert recipes. I feel like that's where I need to work on. So one of my mother culture things is cooking, and I like cooking. I actually enjoy cooking. So I want to find some really good dessert recipes. And of course, books. Books definitely for my mother culture, because I read, and I read a lot, and I like reading, and especially if I'm in a lot of pain and there's nothing else I can do but but sit on the couch and I can't get up, then there's a book in my hand, guaranteed. So there is my mother culture list. It's short, it's sweet. I don't like overwhelming myself, but let me know what you are doing for your mother culture or what you would like to do. And if you want to start doing mother culture, if you haven't started mother culture, I highly recommend reading Karen's book here and kind of just getting started on that, because it's really, really good stuff, guys. All right, I will see you in the next video. I hope that you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And of course, as always, happy homeschooling.